leverage remote work, travel the world, and awaken your purpose. I'm so glad you took some time to take this little journey with me today. Take this little journey for yourself. So, this little webinar is for you if you're a professional, career-driven woman in her 30s or 40s who's isolated in her remote career and looking to travel the world and have experiences that connect you to your life purpose. And on top of all of that, not lose the financial security while you're doing it of your remote job. So, just by a show of hands, who here has ever felt like you've tried to break out of the isolation and stagnancy in your remote career, but for some reason you still feel stuck? You're still getting hung up on something. Yeah. So, you're in the right place. Over the next hour, I'm going to share 3 keys to give you a breakthrough in this area so that you can finally move towards using your remote career as your remote career flexibility as a way to travel and reconnect with yourself, discover your purpose, feel truly alive in your work again. So make sure that you have a pen and paper near you. A little bit later, we're going to move into a little interactive journey. And also be sure to stay until the end so that you don't miss out on a very special offer that'll make this workshop make even more sense and it'll be even more effective for you with this little free gift at the end. So before we dive in, I just want to share a little bit about why I'm so passionate about this topic. So I'm Caitlin Deculus, and that's my name. And I've spent over 15 years navigating remote work, travel, and the search for my life's purpose. So all at the same time. That's it's a lot to juggle, but I did it and I'm very glad that I did. So I know what it's like to have some freedom in your remote job, but to still feel trapped and limited. So like a taste of that, knowing what that freedom tastes like, but still being able to see where the wall is, where I was trapped. Because I had the freedom in my remote job. I could work from anywhere. I knew that I could travel and work. But but I knew that I wasn't truly interested. What I knew that I truly wasn't interested in was doing what I was doing as a career. I knew I truly wasn't invested in it, the career path that I took, but I knew that I loved the freedom that it afforded me since it was remote work. But even still, I felt disconnected from myself, disconnected from others, and honestly, too scared to chase more success in a career that didn't excite me. But I knew in the meantime, what lit me up was traveling the world and experiencing other cultures, their customs, their traditions, hiking, camping, and faraway places, exploring other landscapes, all while being able to work from anywhere in the world with that remote job. So my travels and all those travels and all my inner travels while externally traveling, I discovered Jungian psychology and I really resonated with the model of Jungian psychology and what Carl Jung's model of psychology was based on. So eventually I became a Jungian life coach. So now I help through that lens of Jungian coaching and Jungian psychology. I help remote professionals transform their lives by using their freedom not to just see the world and travel, but to rediscover themselves and build careers that feel aligned and alive with their purpose in the process of traveling. So when you talk to people about, the isolation that you have, the loneliness, the stagnancy in your career, many people will either take on new projects in order to please management. They might switch companies. They might begin chasing certifications or continuing education. They might emotionally spend or just wait for clarity if they're unhappy with their current role of remote work and being isolated and lonely and stagnant. So they search for these these to try to solve the problem of isolation, loneliness, and stagnancy through doing these things. But now, when you go and talk to other people about this isolation, loneliness, and stagnancy, your friends, your family, they'll just tell you, just take your yearly vacation. Just be happy. Be grateful. You have a remote job, for goodness sakes. Or they say you just need some balance. You need some more, you need to get out more, make friends, go sit at a coffee shop and do some work, work at a co-working space. They try to tell you that this is the way to solve these issues of isolation, loneliness, and stagnancy. But here's the truth. No amount of vacations, no amount of success, no amount of waiting for clarity will fill the emptiness if you're not truly aligning yourself consciously with your deeper purpose. The real reason you feel stuck isn't because you're unmotivated or ungrateful. It's because you've outgrown the version of yourself that built this life. And your deeper self is calling you to something more aligned with who you've grown into now. So when you begin using the freedom of your remote lifestyle and your ability to travel to explore, then the remote work becomes a tool to reconnect you with yourself and others and the world. And you begin to wake up with clarity and inspiration in your life again. Because you're not just stuck behind four walls anymore, doing your work in a very solitary manner, virtually solitary. So you begin to feel connected to yourself, your path, your life, when you begin leveraging the freedom that you have in your remote career to explore who you are. What is your purpose? So that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. The three keys to move from remote work isolation and loneliness into freedom, connection, and authentic purpose. The three keys to see clearly your dreams, take bold steps despite fear, and transform through letting go of what's holding you back. So, who here loves a good mythological tale? Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, yeah, mythological tales. What's your favorite one? Who's your favorite hero or heroine? What's your favorite mythological story? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Feel free to drop that in the chat and we can share about that with one another. Samson. That's a classic one. A timeless tale of Samson. Samson the strong. And while you're at it, just go ahead and grab that pen and paper and have that near because I'm going to give you three interactive questions here to write down your answer to. We're going to take that small journey into the realm of myth now. So, one of my favorite myths is that of the ancient Celtic goddess named the Morrigan or An Morrigan. She's the goddess of battle, prophecy, and transformation. So she appears on the battlefield to awaken the warrior, the hero named Cuchulainn. And she wants to see if this warrior is ready to step fully into power, purpose, and destiny as he goes into battle. So when the Morrigan first appears to the warrior, she doesn't come in her appearance as a goddess, but disguised in other forms, testing him. The way that life tests us before we're ready to rise. And she wants to know of the warrior. Is the warrior ready to face the forces that will forge him into a true hero? And she doesn't just test the warrior. She doesn't test the warrior willy-nilly. She doesn't test him to destroy him. She tests him to awaken him. to awaken him to rise. So in the first test, if you can imagine with me, the Morrigan appears to the warrior as a crow. Now, crows are messengers of insight and prophecy. They're symbols of clarity, truth, awareness. If you think of a crow is flying high, high above, high above the land. And they're great communicators. They're always communicating with their voice, communicating the skies, communicating what they see down to the earth. So they're real symbols of communication between the realms of the sky and the earth, of the up and the down, the below and the on high. So here, as the Morrigan appears as a crow, she asks the warrior, Cuchulainn, can you see the truth, even when it's hidden or uncertain? And so here I ask you, and you can write down your answer. What is a dream that you've always had but held back from doing? I'll give you a minute or two to think about that and write that down. And I'll also drop these questions in the chat for you. Amazing. Seeing some things dropping in the chat. Traveling the world, you're in the right place. Worldwide retreats and workshops. I love that. That's a really big, meaty dream. I love that. If you can dream it, you can see it, you can be it. Okay. And so in the second test, the Morrigan appears to the warrior as a wolf. Wolves symbolize courage, instinct, and resilience. And here she asks the warrior, will you act boldly, even when doubt or uncertainty surround you here on the battlefield? So I ask you this question. What are the three reasons this dream seems impossible for you? Yeah, it could be anything. See, time, money, responsibilities. Yeah, sometimes judgment from others. Just a couple seconds, and we'll move on to the next. All right, now in the third test, finally, the Morrigan takes the form of a woman in this test. She's radiant, she's powerful, she's wise as she appears to the warrior, and she represents transformation, wisdom, guidance, and the courage to rise up. And here she asks the warrior Cucullin, are you ready to let go of what holds you back and step into your true power? And here my question to you is, what is the first step that you would take to use the flexibility of your remote job to start traveling and explore what truly lights you up? So what's the first step you would take? Give you about a minute or two to answer that question. Mm-hmm. Because it's really about just taking that first step, and then flow coming forward after that first step. Mm-hmm. So just visualizing it and planning it out, someone said, and seeing what comes from that. Sell a house and get settled. Mm-hmm. Okay, now reflecting on each of your answers to these questions, we'll go back to the first question. What is a dream that you've always had but held back from doing? Now, this question helps you identify the dream or the calling that's already inside of you. It's your untapped potential. It's the part of yourself that you've been ignoring, suppressing, maybe even. So, seeing the dream clearly is the first step towards action. Being honest with what you desire, calling it up to the surface, seeing it in the light. The first step to freedom is being honest with where you've held back in your life. And this is the first key. Seeing clearly what your dream is the first key. And now for the second question. What are 3 reasons this dream is impossible for you? See, naming the obstacle and fears brings them out of the shadows. So when you confront and are honest with what's been holding you back, then you open the door to real progress, real change, making real choices. And some of you might have heard this before, this phrase, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting anyway despite fear. So taking the step, even though fear is there, because when we take the step, fear begins to shrink. So in this question, the warrior is asked to find their courage to step forward, despite fear being present. And now this is the second key, naming the fears and moving forward despite feeling fear. And now for the third question. What's the first step that you would take to use the flexibility of your remote job to start traveling and exploring what truly lights you up? Now, this question helps you move from visioning your dream and awareness of what has held you back and into the powerful place of taking action. So once you can see clearly what you've, number one, dreamt of doing, and number two, what's held you back, you can then, number three, make the choice to move forward. So transformation begins when you act on your truth, taking concrete steps towards freedom exploration, and meaningfully shift into your dream career and life of travel. And so here's the proof of what these tests can create, or what they do create for us, what they created for Cuchulainn. He's no longer just a warrior in this myth. He rises as a hero. He becomes legendary in his story because he faced his truth and he acted boldly despite fear. Passing the Morrigan's challenges transformed him in battle. He rose to his purpose to be the hero on the battlefield, from just mere warrior to a hero in his story. So, yeah, thank you for sharing in the chat. I find that it's really invigorating to be reminded by one another that there are others purposefully walking on the path to their answers also. Sometimes we cross each other on our paths. Sometimes we're parallel on our paths from one another, but it's so helpful to be able to look this way or that way and see that someone else is purposefully walking towards their purpose. Okay, so now you've just identified three very powerful keys to freedom. That was your dream, your fears, and your first step towards the life that's calling you. But insight alone isn't always enough. Sometimes we need to step into the realm of intuition. So, for transformation to truly take root, we have to move beyond into that intuitive place, beyond thinking, but beyond logic, so that we can experience the deeper wisdom in ourselves, connecting with our souls. In mythology, the hero isn't only tested through these questions, they're often given a symbol, a sign, or a guide that appears to them when they're ready to step onto their new path. So, here for the next few minutes, I'd like to invite you into the realm of imagination and intuition. And this is the same place where myths are born. So, just take a moment to fully arrive where you are in your seat after all those questions and all that thinking. And I'm going to invite you into a little guided visualization. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear that music. Yeah? Okay, great. So just take a moment to relax here and close your eyes. Closing your eyes and relaxing in your seat. And imagine that there's a very warm light descending from above you. And it's coming down onto your head. This warm light. You feel this warm light traveling down into your scalp, down across your face, the back of your head, dripping down your neck, down to your shoulders. Just relaxing and unclenching your jaw, releasing down any tension from your shoulders, and feeling that warm light travel down your arms, down your fingertips, all across your chest, your torso, wrapping around your back, your lower back, traveling down your thighs, back of your legs, wrapping down your knees, the front of your shins, the back of your shins. That warm light going down all the way to your feet and down to your toes. And feeling that warm light come out of your toes, connecting you down to the earth below you, connecting deep into the earth. And now imagine that light traveling back up to reach your head again and your scalp. And that light penetrates again into your scalp. And now you're surrounded, you're emanating this warm, relaxing light, emanating it outward into the world around you. And now in this warmth, imagine that you're in a favorite room in your house. What's your favorite room? Is it your bedroom? Is it the kitchen? The living room? The library? Maybe there's a little nook. I want you to picture yourself in this room if you can. And if you can't see it, just imagine you feel what this room feels like. It could be the room that you're in right now. See if you can picture the lighting in this room. Is it bright or dim? The windows. What's outside the windows? Notice if there's a smell in this room, a certain smell. What kind of sounds do you hear in this room? Do you have some soft music playing? Or is there noise from the street? Do you have windows open where you can hear the sounds from outside? The wind, animals, the birds. I want you to scan your body as you're visualizing yourself in this room and see what you're wearing right now. See if you can get a sense of the detail of the clothes you're wearing right now. What colors are they? The fabric. I want you to imagine now that in this room, somewhere in this room on a shelf or a place that it could sit, is a beautiful bright red box. It looks like a really deep red, the color of a deep red apple. And a beautiful golden bow with glitter. And I want you to walk over to that box and you notice that the top can easily come off. Imagine that you take that box in your hands and you feel the sensation of the box in your fingers. Is it smooth or is it full of glitter? A little rough? And I want you to remove the cover and look inside. And what do you see inside? It could be anything you like. That symbol has a message for you. What you see in this box has a message for you. You might not know what it means right now, but we can explore it together. And if you could choose to put the top back on the box or to leave it open, you can do either. Take one more scan around the room and see if there's any other details about this room that you missed. Then gather up your information, your symbol, and get ready to come back to the room. Open your eyes. Take a good stretch and smile. Welcome back. I'm just going to give you a brief moment here to Write down the details that stood out to you in the visualization, symbols, colors, images, messages. Sometimes it's easy to forget these things as time goes by, and this is a good way to be able to revisit what came to you. So I'll be quiet for a moment while you do that. As you sit with these details, reflect back on them after this call today, and it'll continue to make more sense how they relate to your goals. Working remotely, traveling the world, awakening your purpose. The symbol or the message that you received in the visualization is also a huge key. It has information for you about stepping into action and how to move forward towards your goals. Imagine it's like a power symbol or a power talisman. So I would love to see if you'd like to share and drop in the chat what symbols you might have received or what messages you might have received. And as you revisit this symbol later on, it may even transform and evolve. Symbols are the first language of humankind. It's our original language. So we're working to remember that what the information that is contained in these symbols. Because one picture or one image can translate 1,000 words. A dragon's head, very powerful, very powerful. A ring, china bells, and the sun. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, so thinking about even on an intuitive level, the idea of a dragon's head or a ring or a china bell or the sun, intuitively, what that means to you. Okay. So I love this group here today. I really do. And I know that some of you have feedback and questions that you prefer to ask in private. So one-on-one support is incredibly powerful and important. So for the next 24 hours, I'm opening up my calendar to book your free call to awakening. And on this call, we can explore the inner traveler that's awakening within you. It's wanting to come to the surface. You might have questions about the symbol or the message that you received in the visualization, and we can explore more about what those mean for you and how this symbol or message can assist you in reaching your goal. So by the end of our call, you'll walk away with insight on your next steps to exploring the freedom in your remote career and how you can step into greater alignment with your purpose. So I'm going to book I'm going to post a link to book your free call to awakening in the chat. And so be sure to click on it, copy and save. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now. There we go. There's your link to book. And also, there will be a replay of today's call available, sent out to everyone who signed up for today's call. So even if you weren't able to call in, you can still rewatch this for a limited time. So be sure to check your email for when that drops in your inbox. And if you want to go back and do that meditation again a second time and go deeper on that symbol, deeper on that message, and see what comes up again, you can totally do that on the replay. So, are there any questions or thoughts you might have about anything that we talked about today, about your experience? Yeah, please post in the chat and I'll do my best to answer any questions. So glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, coaching packages that I offer, we can talk about that on the one-on-one call, but I do offer a 3-month package and a 6-month package. 3-month package is called the Inner Traveler Awakening. Tran Awakening package, and the 6-month journey is the Inner Traveler Transformation package. So we can explore even more in the 6-month. We're just kind of breaking the surface in the first 3 months, and as we continue doing the work, we can go deeper and deeper into that 6-month package. So yeah, I would be happy to talk to you about that or talk to anyone about that on a one-on-one call, and we can go deeper about what that would look like to work together long term. So, yeah, if there's no other questions, yeah, space is limited. So, be sure to book your free call to awakening to work one-on-one with me. And together, we'll explore the next steps to using your remote work freedom to travel and awaken your purpose through real world experiences out there in the world, exploring, connecting with others, traveling, camping, hiking, doing all the things that you want to do out in the world, all while working remotely. So I want to thank you again for attending this webinar. It's been really great to spend this Saturday with you, and I look forward to speaking with you privately on our call to awakening so we can go deeper. So my mission is to help you fully leverage the freedom of your remote career to travel the world, gain deeper clarity on your life's purpose through real experiences, and create a path that intentionally integrates that purpose into your work and life. Have a wonderful day. I hope you all find your inner voice, you reach the freedom to explore the world, and have the courage to follow what's calling you forth.